Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Esquire Coaching Radio, where we help attorneys achieve unparalleled personal and professional success. And now here's your host, Ann Jenrette Thomas.
Hello. Welcome, everyone, to Esquire Coaching Radio. I can't believe we are a week out from Christmas, but here we are. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you today. As you know, Esquire Coaching is a national coaching and consulting firm that is dedicated to helping lawyers achieve extraordinary whole life success. To that end, we discuss the full range of topics from business building to getting a job to work-life balance and everything in between. Today, we have a very special guest who is actually a part of the Esquire Coaching team, and she is going to talk to us about shifting your energy for all-around success. So as lawyers, we tend to rely more on our left brain, the part of the brain that functions on logic, reasoning, and analysis. In fact, we tend to approach success from this point of view as well. Today, energy coach Nilda Carrasquillo teaches lawyers a new paradigm: work with your energy to achieve all-around success. As lawyers learn to better manage their energy levels, they will reduce stress, achieve greater work-life balance, and more effectively build their practices. Nilda is an energy leadership and work-life balance coach and facilitator. She's also a Reiki practitioner, and as I mentioned, she's part of the Esquire Coaching team. For over 20 years, Nilda has worked with individuals challenged with drug addiction, illness, and life, helping them find their inner strength, get motivated, and take action to make the change to a healthier and successful life. Nilda earned her coaching certification through the Institute of Professional Excellence in Coaching, otherwise known as IPEC, where she also earned a certification as an Energy Leadership Index Master Practitioner. Nilda's coaching practice is complemented by her experience as a member of the executive team in various organizations in New York. She earned an MPA from Baruch College of School of Public Affairs and a BA from City College with a concentration in human services. Her focus has been coaching staff in leadership and skill development and individuals in personal and professional transformation using energetic and innovative approaches. She uses these techniques to ensure that if you're missing the wow factor in your life, then Nilda says your energy is low and it's time to fuel up. So without any further ado, welcome Nilda.
Thank you, Ann. Oh, I'm so excited, to be here today. I thank you and the listeners for listening in. And, as we were talking, this is the last show of the year. And so it's like, wow, what a better way to, kick off the year and really look at your energy and start shifting and just creating the success that you are wanting for 2014. So I'm excited. And again, thank you, Ann.
Oh, my God, so excited to have you here. And actually, before I dive into the questions, I just want to remind our listeners that if you have a question for Nilda directly, there will be time toward the end of our show. All you have to do is call 347-838-8719 and press 1 to get in the queue. That's 347-838-8719 and press 1 to get in the queue. All right, Nilda, so you identify as an energy coach. Say more about what this means.
Okay, so like you mentioned, I received my certification from IPEC, and IPEC's methodology is based on the scientific application of energy and consciousness. So during the training, we learned a lot about the energy perceptions chart, which talks about the 7 levels of energy. And the 2 bottom levels, 1 and 2, are negative, catabolic, destructive energy. And the 3 to 7 levels are higher, positive, and constructive energy. And so the work that we do when a client decides to take the energy assessment tool is that we look at where individuals are expending their energy. So if you are putting a lot of energy into your 1 and 2 levels, means that you're at a negative place, means that you're not being productive because you don't have constructive energy, you have destructive energy. So with the energy leadership concept, what we do is really work with the individual to really look at the core of what's going on with their energy and then start working towards shifting. Because that the higher the energy, the more motivated you are, and when you're motivated, you're excited. So you're going to move forward, and you have a better chance of, becoming successful.
That makes a lot of sense. And when you're more motivated, it sounds like you're also, I see this across the board, people are more productive, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because like I mentioned, it's about energy and consciousness. And when you're at low energy, when you're at this negative place, you're really not in touch. You're not in touch with yourself. You're not in touch with what's going on. And so there's no clarity. So once you start focusing, it's about, developing your self-awareness. What is it?
No, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off because I'm really fascinated by this concept of mingling energy and consciousness, but I'm not sure that all of our listeners are aware of what exactly those two things mean. So would you mind giving us a brief explanation of what you mean by energy and consciousness and also what the link between the two is?
Okay. So when you look at your energy, oftentimes when people are in these 2 lower levels, which is, the negative, destructive energy, where you're not motivated, you're probably in a place of sadness, anger, these feelings that are negative that are holding you back. And so the work that we do with the consciousness is to get the client to get to the point of that self-awareness, of understanding what is going on. We're coming to that understanding that they're at this place. They're at this place, negativity. Again, whatever that means, whether it's something, where it's sad, whether it's anger, something that's keeping you stuck from moving forward. So the level of consciousness and bringing that self-awareness is by understanding that, because the only way that you can shift it, the only way that you can move forward is if you know what you're working with. If you're not clear that you're stuck in this negative level, then you're not able to move it forward. So we work on raising that consciousness by looking at what thoughts are going on. What are the thoughts that are connected to these emotions, to these feelings, and then how we can shift those thoughts. So, for example, if you're feeling like you're not productive and you're feeling fear, and I'll bring fear up a lot because fear is often one of those thoughts and feelings that keeps you stuck. So we want to look at those thoughts. What is it that's causing that fear? And then once that the individual identifies that, it's like, so how can we change that into a positive thought?
I get it. So if I'm hearing you correctly, your process helps people become aware of not only what their energy level is, but then the consciousness piece is about what are they thinking that's keeping them in that energy. Did I get that right?
Absolutely, absolutely, because the thoughts, your thoughts will make you or break you. Okay, so if you're thinking, well, I'm not good enough to do this, I don't have the support, I just don't know how. If you're thinking like that, you're not going to move because you're stuck. You're stuck in this, I can't, I don't know how, I'm not worth it, I don't have the ability to. So it's about, okay, how can we start shifting that? How can you look at the positive things you do in life? So, for instance, when I have a client that's saying, oh, I just don't have the strength, I don't know how to do this, then it's okay. So where in your life have you been successful? And when they think about that point in their life where you've been successful, how does that feel? And when you relate the feeling to the thought, and you realize, wow, when I was successful doing this, it was really exciting. And so then you use that moment of that shift of remembering that point of success, of excitement, and then that's what you want to use with the client to continue moving that person forward and changing. these negative feelings that come up, that negative energy pulls you down.
That makes a lot of sense. I think you're really speaking to something important, and I just want to emphasize, in particular for lawyers, I think this is important because there's so much pressure and so much demand to essentially be perfect. I think a lot of lawyers have type A personalities and a tendency to want to be perfect, and so the internal dialogue might be putting a little extra pressure, which, as you're now mentioning, could lead to stagnation on some level, lack of productivity, et cetera. So really great point. Now, how do you work with energy in a coaching session?
So, like I had mentioned earlier, there's this energy leader index assessment that the client can opt to take during a session with either myself or an energy leadership coach. And the other way that I work with a client regarding energy is, like I just mentioned, when I work with the client, it's about really exploring, that self-exploration, like I just talked about. Like, what is it that's going on? What is it that is keeping you? And oftentimes, as you start asking these empowering questions and you get the client to start really thinking and tapping into the core thoughts, they come up with the answers. We have the answers. And so once these answers are coming up and these emotions come up, then you want to expand so that you can shift, again, like I said earlier, these thoughts and these emotions into this positive and energy that's going to move you forward. When I work with the clients, one of the things that I work on is reflecting on these inner blocks, your GAILs. And the GAILs is an acronym for, gremlins and assumptions and interpretation and limiting beliefs that oftentimes are the blockers that are not allowing us to really shift that negative energy into positivity and creativity and success.
Oh, wait, so you just can you go over the acronym again? I just want to make sure that all of our listeners get what each of these things are.
The GAILs are your gremlins, assumptions, interpretations, and limiting beliefs. And so the GAILs, with the gremlin, is that little voice, that little mean voice that's saying, no, you're not good enough. Oh, no, your mother, your father wanted you to be a lawyer, and so you have to be the best lawyer. But you're not good enough, though. that little annoying voice that's constantly trying to knock you down. And then with the assumptions is, what we assume is when you assume and you make an invalid statement or belief, a valid or invalid statement about self. And then with the interpretations there, these are results of filters. These are the lenses in which you see the world and, more importantly, where you see yourself. So if you have these negative interpretations about yourself or about relationships in the law firm, these are going to be blocks that are not going to allow you to be productive. And then the limiting beliefs is those thoughts that tries to tell you that you can only jump this high, or you can only, you're only going to be able to get a certain amount of clients. You're only going to be able to be a partner, never have your own, law practice. Those limiting beliefs because you're not good enough. Again, oftentimes it's because you're not good enough. And a lot of it is always what's behind it is the fear.
That's so true, I see this happen all the time. So let's how does building energy increase success?
Well, Alec, I had mentioned when you build energy, what you're basically building is your self-awareness. What you basically are doing is breaking down blocks, things that are holding you back. You're getting more clarity. You're getting more clarity on what it is, what does success really mean to you. One of the things that I always talk to clients about is that there are many times when we make decisions in life, whether to become a lawyer, a coach, doctor, and these are based on expectations from the family, the culture, and so coming to that level of awareness of understanding why you're making these decisions and understanding them and then really owning them, really getting to that point of coming into alignment on that purpose, that desire of what success is and what it means to you, as opposed to other people's expectations, or as opposed to what the culture has told you that you have to be, or who you have to be, or what career you should be, because that happens. There are people that come from, strong parents that say, this is what you need to do, and this is what you're going to do, and you go and you do it, and then you're not in line with it because it's not what you wanted. So really being clear and having that level of self-awareness helps shift the energy in the way that when you are able to be in control, when you're able to understand what's holding you back, then you can only move it forward. Then you can get excited about it. Once you start getting excited about it, you get clarity. You're in a place of where you have compassion and you have understanding for others. Then you start shifting energy. Then you start moving forward.
Okay, I think this is really interesting. So now you've talked a lot about being aware, self-awareness, that, once you understand what you're thinking, why you do things the way that you do. But what if instead of developing compassion for yourself, what if you continue to judge yourself for it? How does one shift their energy when you're dealing with essentially an uncompassionate part of yourself?
Yeah, and everything, it's interesting because when I started doing the training, it was really interesting because, part of the training is you have to do your own work. And wow, judgment, whew, that's a biggie. That's a biggie. And, the self-awareness will only happen as quickly as the time and effort and that you put into the work. It's all about how much you're committed to doing the work. And so, like, for instance, for myself, when I started doing this training and I had to do my own self-development and, my own self-awareness and clarity in my own life, and in realizing where I was stuck and where my negative energy was coming, and it was specific around work and also a relationship. And when I started doing the work and realizing that these issues were holding me back, then I was able to say, okay, this is holding me back. Now what it is that I need to move me forward. And one of the things that I had to stop doing is judging myself and also judging the people at my workplace and the people in my relationship.
So you noticed that you were judging? Is that what you're saying?
Okay. So I was in total judgment, not only of myself, but of the other people that were part of this negative energy that was really keeping me in a place that I was stuck. So I was judging myself, saying, I went to school, but maybe I'm not, this is the job I need to stay in because I can't get another job. Look at the recession. It was like poor me kind of thing. It's so bad. And then, some relationships, family relationships that were sort of also draining me. And, I was in total judgment about them. And I had to realize that I had to look at myself first and realize my strengths, realize my potentials, be forgiving, and stop judging others, but if anything, being compassionate.
I love it.
And
so it's a process, though. That's what I'm hearing, and I think I want our listeners to really get that this is not, just maybe on occasion the awareness alone is enough to move you out of a negative place into something positive. Maybe that's the aha you needed to jolt you. But in some instances,
that's so wow,
right?
I know what's going on. So now I got to look at my options, and I need to change it. And you know, the exciting thing about my journey in, you know, in this self-awareness and shifting my energy from this negative place of, you know, poor me, I'm stuck in this job and blah, 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 blah. One of the outcomes was just phenomenal. And I had never did this, you know, went into doing this work with this expectation, is that I am no longer taking high blood pressure medication.
Wow.
That's a wow.
You know, that's a wow, because I don't think people realize that. Folks, listen to what Nilda is saying. There is a direct correlation between your energy, your thoughts, and even your physical body. So you're saying to us that by you doing this work on yourself, having this awareness, and shifting your energy toward the more positive, you were able to literally get off of blood pressure medication. That's amazing.
It's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, you know, every other recommendation of the exercise, losing weight, definitely, guys, I'm not discouraging that. But, you know, it's about really getting, you know, down and dirty to the core, and really looking at what is really weighing you down, what is really draining your spirit.
I totally agree with that. I mean, I'm right on board with you, Nilda, and I wholeheartedly believe that, and that is the approach that we take at Esquire Coaching as well. It's a holistic perspective to success. Now, I want to remind our listeners that if you want to ask Nilda a question, call in now, 347-838-8719. That's 347-838-8719, and press 1 to get in the queue. But before I take some callers, you know, you had mentioned the 7 levels, and I have them here. Would it be all right if I state what they are, and then you can maybe expand upon them?
Certainly.
Okay. So you said that the first 2 are lower level, and they are victim, and then the next one is conflict. The next one is responsibility. The next level is concern. The next level is reconciliation and synthesis, and finally non-judgment. So tell us a little bit more about moving up the scale, so to speak, of these 7 levels.
So with the 7 levels, one thing that I definitely want to say is that even when you do the work and you're aware and you reach that level of awareness and understanding about those 7 levels, on a day, week, month, you can fluctuate, right? Because we never, you know, life is life. So by doing the work, it doesn't mean, okay, so now, you know, I'm no longer negative and I'm not, you know, no longer angry or in conflict or in victim level. No, it doesn't mean that. It means that life goes on, and there are times and situations and circumstances that are going to bring you to that point of victim energy. It's the amount of time that you choose to stay stuck in that affects your energy. And this is, again, where the level of awareness is so important, because once you do the work and you can come to that self-awareness, when you fall into the lower levels, then you say, wait, I'm going back there. This is what worked for me before, and I need to shift back up. So when you're going up to this level of responsibility, right, which is the level 3, that's where you're saying, okay, you know, I got to take responsibility for myself here, and I need to create the changes that I need to create so that I can be successful in my law practice, so that I can be successful in my relationships, you know, so that I can be healthier. You start taking that responsibility, and then as you go into, you know, the next level, then you're talking about concern, and that's where, when I mentioned earlier about the work that I did, that's where not only having the compassion for myself and understanding that I was judging myself, but that I was judging others and having compassion for them.
Wow, that's amazing. And, you know, it's what's fascinating about these 7 levels is that only the the first 2 are catabolic or negative, and that you can really start to see some traction and changes, and it sounds like progressively so, starting at level 3, responsibility, and continuing up.
Continuing up, exactly.
Okay. So, you know, let me ask you, can you provide our listeners with a few tips on how they can start increasing their energy for success?
Yep, absolutely. And the first thing I'm going to say is get excited. People, it's 2014, you know, this is an opportunity to let go of those energy suckers, you know. And so what I say is to declutter, clean out your energetic system, and work on your energy flow. And when I talk about decluttering with my clients, I talk about decluttering your space, you know, your office, your home, you know, creating a comfortable space that allows you to be in the moment, a sense of freedom. That's so important, you know. When I work with people that have issues with hoarding, I always ask them, I say, what are you fearful of letting go of? And how is it important to hold on? You know, what it is that you're holding on. So decluttering for me is really key. Decluttering relationships. Like I mentioned earlier in my own personal journey. You know, sometimes you got to let go of people that hold you back. And this could be difficult because this may include loved ones, okay? It doesn't mean that you stop loving, right? Because we're saying we're going to be compassionate, we're not going to be judgmental, but you have to set boundaries. You have to be intentional about your purpose and to focus on moving forward. It's very important to declutter, to clean out these thoughts, look at these thoughts, and lots of time and energy oftentimes, we spend lots of time and energy on the past, focusing on the negative experiences. Clean it up, you know, because it's wearing you down. So these are experiences that you want to shift to opportunities that are going to motivate you to move you forward. You know, and so when you let go of the ones that are holding you back, these thoughts, you're keeping the past, and keeping you in the past. Then you're stuck and you're not allowing yourself to move forward. So again, decluttering environment, decluttering your heart, decluttering your thoughts, and just, you know, relationships, and just shifting and just allowing yourself, you know, to be, you know, present, allowing yourself, you know, not judging yourself, allowing yourself to use fear as fuel to move you forward, okay, as opposed to holding you down. And lastly is don't relish, you know, if you don't relish in your success, you live in your failures. And you don't want to live in your failures. You want to succeed. You want to be successful. You want to have a wow 2014.
Really great advice, especially this last part. I think taking the time to relish in your success is extremely important, and something that I think a lot of lawyers do fail to do just because we focus so much on just getting to the next task. Well, believe it or not, we are out of time. So, Nilda, can you please tell our audience how they can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. I can be reached at nilda@tcoaching.com or email at tcoaching@gmail.com, or you can call at 347-945-0610.
Okay, great. This has been so wonderful. I hope all of you who are listening got a lot of great tips on why it's important for you to shift your energy. So let's keep this conversation going. Join us on any of our social media sites. Join us on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. All of our sites are available through our website at www.esquirecoaching.com. And, you know, as I mentioned, Nilda is part of our team, so if you would like to figure out what your levels are, we do offer the Energy Leadership Index through Esquire, and I know Nilda offers it through her own individual company as well. So we encourage you to utilize it. I want to wish all of you a happy, happy holiday season and all the best for 2014. We will see you in the new year. Thank you, everyone, for being such a great audience for Esquire Coaching Radio in 2013. We look forward to supporting you in whole life success next year. Thanks, Nilda, for being here.
Thank you. Happy New Year's, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care.